Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Billion Dollar Movie Club. Each and every week we gather and we discuss films. And maybe the film has some money. And we're like, that's a lot of green. A lot of green for this 420 to talk about. All right. Yes, we're talking about this on 420.
I mean, it's not going up on 420, but you know what is going up on 420?
I don't know.
Not
I,
not
I don't
us,
know.
not us,
No,
because we're not blazing.
yeah, not that there's anything wrong with that. But yeah, that's not my thing. You know what is my thing? A
What?
delightful flick, a picture, a talkie. This week
What?
we're discussing Disney's Zootopia.
Yeah, that is a movie involving animals
Really?
living in a utopia of sorts. But
Oh,
because it's like a bunch of different animals, it's a zoo.
were you aware that in some countries it's called Zootropolis? They were unable
I
to
mean,
trademark the name Zootopia in those countries.
in those countries, they had to give the shout out to Fritz Lang.
Released on March 4th, 2016, with a budget of $150 million. The film had a domestic opening of 75.1 million. Uh, Big opening, a lot of records. Either it broke or is in like the top 5 at the time, including the fourth biggest opening for an original film. It spent 3 weekends at number 1 until it was dethroned by, yes, everyone's favorite, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. And then a press release from Disney on June 6th, 2016, Zootopia crosses $1 billion worldwide. It was Disney's 11th film to cross the $1 billion mark. Would go on to gross 341 million domestically and 1.023 billion worldwide. At the time, it was do I have these numbers right? At the time, it was the 38th highest grossing domestic and 24th worldwide. Currently, the 58th highest grossing domestic and 44th worldwide. It is on the lower end of the money makers, and yet it's still in the list. Once you're on the list, you're part of the list.
I mean, we're talking about it right now, aren't we?
We are talking about it.
That's what matters. Listen, money talks.
Oh. Is that a
Yeah.
song? I'm thinking Everybody Talks.
I mean, it's just a saying that my dad says all
It
the
is.
time.
It is a
Well,
saying.
that's only the first half of the saying, but like you don't need to hear the second half.
So you heard what your dad says. What do you say about this film?
Well, before we get into our opinions
Oh,
about the film,
yeah. What happens in it? Come on. For the uninitiated who maybe were like, oh, I don't care about movies. Disney can go fuck itself. But I like these two personalities. All right.
you
I
know,
want to know what they
part of
think
me
about
wants to be in that camp.
it. Come on, what happens in this movie?
So there's this little bunny, and she's like, "I'm Judy Hopps, and I want to be a cop," which there's better options. Come on. But you know what? That's what she said. That's what she wants to do. And her parents are like, you know what? It's okay to settle. But she's like, I'm not going to settle. I'm going to go to the big city and I'm going to be a big time cop. And then like she goes through training and stuff like that. She's top of her class. But once she actually gets on the force, the police chief's like, you're on parking duty. And she's like, I'm not going to just do parking duty. I'm going to be the best parking duty. And I'm going to make sure everyone's pissed at me because that's how I do my job good. And then she does. And then like, she's like, I want to be more. And then this little otter comes, is like, help me find my husband. And she's like, I'll help you find your husband. And the police chief is like, you got 48 hours or you're off the force. She finds the husband, but the husband is entangled in racism. That's the movie.
Entangled in racism.
Yes.
That's a phrase. Do you enjoy this movie, Juan? I believe we watched it together way back when, right?
Did we?
I want to say that's correct.
Maybe. It was all right.
And that's the end of the episode, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I personally, I really enjoyed this movie, but I look back at it weirdly because it won Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. It's one Oscar nomination, and that was a really fucking good year for animated movies.
What other movies were that year, Miss Simpson?
Kubo and the Two Strings,
Mm-hmm.
and this isn't even the best Disney movie. I'm a big Moana fan.
Mm-hmm.
And shouts to My Life as a Zucchini, an adorable French film, I believe.
Okay.
Animated. But yeah. And that's not to take away from this. I think this is a very good movie.
Was Secret Life of Pets nominated this year?
It was not nominated this year.
But it was nominated at some point.
Not for the Oscars.
It was not.
Not to my knowledge. Why?
I don't know.
Are
It's
you
just
sad?
it's another animated movie where we follow animals as they go
Yeah.
about their lives.
Yeah, they're the same market. They're competing, all right? Look at the Oscars this year, right? They nominated one black movie for Best Picture. The other three were ignored for Best Picture. It's not
The
fun.
other three.
Ma Rainey, One Night in Miami, The Five Bloods were the other three big Oscar pushes.
Well, Netflix had all their money in Mank, which personally, smart choice. I think that's a smart choice.
I prefer that over Trial, which we'll save this for our future Oscar podcast.
Well, I mean, I think it's this Sunday for those unaware. The latest iteration of the Oscars. This Sunday.
So do you want to go and it sounds like you wanted to get
let's talk about Judy Hopps.
Judy Hopps. Jennifer Goodwin. The little thing here.
Yeah. She's a bunny.
She's spunky.
She hops around sometimes.
She's adorable. She's fun.
Yeah.
I like her spirit.
I like her gumption.
Ooh, that's a word I hear, but forget it exists. It's like, whoa, that's a good word. That's one of those SAT words. Yeah, I think she is a delight. Watching this movie, because everyone took away like this is the movie about race without being about race, right?
Yeah, it's a very clunky metaphor.
Like we could break into that later, but it occurred to me how much she represents not just white people, but white women.
Yeah.
In the fact that, yes, she has fights to fight as well, but she misses the larger picture a lot of the time.
Yo, she's a girl boss. You hating on girl bosses? Is that what's happening right now?
Not sure what that term means. So I tried to just skate right through it.
Wow. You hate women in positions of power.
No, wow. I hate the letter G. Wow. And there's a letter G in that word.
Oh, so you just hate the term girl overall. Wow.
As much as I hate the term gentleman.
Wow.
Also, as much
as
I hate gender. As much as I hate gophers.
Now you're racist against gophers. I see how it is.
Google. Oh, Google has 2 G's in it.
Speaking of Google, did you ever hear the explanation of how Goop got its name?
Goop? Hold up. You just went from one goo to another goo?
Did you ever
remember that character Goo from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
No, but like, did you ever hear?
How does Goop get its name? No.
Gwyneth Paltrow was like, I know all these big tech companies, they have a G and like a double O in their name, so I decided to name my company Goop.
I do remember hearing about that. Good for $1 billion club member Gwyneth Paltrow, star of Iron Man 3 and the Avengers, and possibly later on. I think she shows up later on.
She's in the ends.
Yeah. You know who may or may not be in the ends? I forget what happens to his MCU character. Idris Elba,
He
which
was the mayor, right?
he was Chief Bogo.
I mean, yeah, he's still there at the end when like
Oh,
he does
I meant,
that joke. He
I
does
meant.
that jokey joke.
I can't tell if he's in an Endgame or not. He's in Infinity War. He dies in the beginning of Infinity War.
Oh.
He's a fun presence. It.
You know
It
what? Everyone keeps talking about how like, oh, it's great that Marvel's getting all these other Marvel characters in their roster. But like, Disney owns so many other properties. Why don't they toss them in?
Come on, save it for later. We know how to fix stuff. Uh, it does bother me that everyone was like, "This is the film about race," and then the quote unquote equivalent of black people, I guess, is Nick Wilde, a fox played by Jason Bateman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a one-to-one comparison.
It's not.
That's the thing.
I do wonder how much they intended this to be about race or just prejudices in general. But also, like, can you separate the two nowadays?
One thing that kind of irked me a little bit
Ooh, irked.
uh was when Judy was like, listen, we could call other bunnies cute, but you can't call me cute.
Yeah. We know what that was for.
But like, I get it from the standpoint of they can't actually use slurs and stuff like that in a children's film. But like, cute.
It it feels at ease. With a word like cute, it feels like it's not.
It just comes across more as a joke than
Yes. And it also makes about the word and not the history behind the word,
yeah.
which does a lot to it, right? I question the two of us having this conversation right now, but like it feels so forced in, and it is kind of a joke-y thing. I could have sworn I misremembered. I thought she said something to him that it was like the quote unquote slur, but it was him saying it to her.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was odd. Very odd choice.
I liked how they they brought up the different areas of the Zootopia, and
Oh
like
yes,
they explored some of them. That was nice.
I love the introduction of her on the train, and you have the song, the Shakira song, "Try Everything," and she's just watching all these sights kind of go past her as she's amazed as the scope of the city and all the possibilities. And it reminded me of, hear me out, Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets. I forget what
Okay,
happens.
yeah,
There's a sequence where they're fighting or something. I forget, but they like bust through all the different cities on the planet, and so you get this like 2 second glimpse of each of these other worlds, and that was like that's what it reminded me of. Both films came out the same year, so it's not like one was influenced by the other. But I like the tease of what could come, and unlike Valerian, you do actually see those worlds.
well, not all of them. Like you don't really get much of the Sahara town.
Sure, you get a glimpse of it when they're doing the popsicles, right?
I guess, yeah. Yeah.
But but like, what if they're running around chasing people? You don't want them doing that in the desert.
I don't know. Listen, I enjoyed Uncharted 3. I don't know about you. That second half went off.
I guess that is the Uncharted thing. I have no care for any of the Uncharted's. I respect them. It's a lot of games. Although I
Yeah.
find the casting odd, I do think Bateman's great in this movie. Um, he he has a calmness to him that makes him feel like he's always in control, or at least trying to gain control. and it works in this. It works in like Arrested Development, and
Well,
I thought
it
he was
works
wonderful in this.
contextually in this because, as a predator class fox, he's always got to be in control of how he's being perceived, lest he go off the rails for a second and people get scared, as showcased in that one moment where he's implying that he could do that, and Judy reaches for her fox repellent.
Repellent. Yeah, because this is the repellent. It's the animal version. They plucked it from some animals. It's a repellent. It's a little heavy-hand fisted. Is that the
It
word I'm looking
is.
for? This film, but
But I
also
mean,
like
also it's a kids film, so of course it has to be a little overt
yeah,
with its messaging.
I'd rather a film that's aimed at a younger audience tackle these ideas and land it fairly well,
Hmm.
rather than just ignore them.
One
Right?
thing that did irk me a little bit while watching this movie. You know what, Masinsa, can you read off of what's behind you? What's the first category that this is considered as?
I don't know. Can you read it off of the
I
screen?
can't.
It's very tiny.
I can't, but you probably can.
So first is PG 2016.
Well,
Then it says a 1 hour 48 minutes. Then police slash cop. Poan, I
that
believe we had a conversation about this in maybe The Dark Knight
maybe,
20 something episodes ago.
but like, man, they really brush over a lot of the things that she does to get what she wants or needs for her case.
Oh, her abuse of Nick
Yeah, in
early on.
terms of like just like that when they're in the cold town where it's like, "Oh, now I have jurisdiction because you fell in there. Now I can look wherever I want."
Poan, it was a hassle. Is that the word they say? Hassle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like,
It's problematic.
and also just like the parking tickets thing really got to me.
Yeah. I hate when she's like, okay, you want me to do I'm not going to write 100 tickets. I'm going to write 200 tickets before noon. I was like, that's not why you do this.
Well, I mean, technically, quotas wise, that is exactly why they do.
I, I think the idea of a quota for a police officer is terrible.
Yeah, no, but like in universe, in office and stuff like that, if she wants to prove her usefulness to the force, it makes sense. It's just shitty
Yeah.
because they gotta make money, right? Because
I
they gotta show off their influence. They gotta be like, we're here, you owe us, we don't owe you. That's how it works.
now we're entering this territory. I don't think this film uh tackles the current state of the police department. Can I say that? That's it. I think
Depart.
it I don't know. What's the whole wide thing? What would you call the whole wide one? Police industry?
Yeah, that counts.
Okay.
Sure.
I think it handles it assuming that everyone is aiming for the perfect version, the ideal version. And I think as a society, we gotta figure out that realize that no, that's not what it actually is.
I mean, even if this was aiming for that idealized version of police, like just faking your way to having jurisdiction to inspect other people's property,
No,
that's it's not okay.
no, it's not. I did like the scene of her doing the press conference thinking that she's just stating the facts. It's like, no, you're spouting BS and you're villainizing, criminalizing the others, the minority.
Yeah, I mean that was one aspect of it that was pretty well handled, but of course it did end up being just like a small mistake that they fixed immediately.
I do think the character beats for Nick are kind of just forced. When he goes, uh, when Idris Elba's character is chastising Judy. What was that word I used? That worked, right?
Chastising.
Where did that come
Yeah.
from?
Yeah, it works.
And then Nick saves her. I felt
You
that
know
was a
what?
little random.
If you feel like that, if you feel personally that that word did not work for you, email us. Masinsa, what's that email? Where
Damn,
can they
why?
reach out to you personally about this issue?
Wait, Pawan, I forgot to write it down. Can you? I think you have a notepad right there in front of you with our personal emails. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So for you, it is m dot ass ensign 1492 at that's UHHH, by the way. UMMM.com.
Wait, so when you spell out UHHHUHMM, is that also in the email?
Yeah,
So
that's the
it's
end of the
double.
email.
So
Like
the
that's the
spelling is
website.
doubled. So it's UHHUHHUHMM.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And Pawan, just hit them with your email again in case they wanna. If they can't find my email, what's your email?
Well, you know what? We'll bring that up if I mess up. You don't need that email right now. All right, audience. You don't need it right now.
Why is this my favorite thing of every episode? But yeah, I think Nick's acceptance uh of Judy at the end also when she apologized to him under the bridge is a little quick, kind of forced. Um, but I enjoy the pace of the movie, so it didn't bother me too much. It's a nice brisk pace. So there's that. Forgot how we got there, but there's that.
You know what this you know what I saw recently that also handles the subject of race as it relates to the overall like military police sort of industrial complex.
Ted Lasso.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, I haven't started watching that.
It's pretty good.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Is that all you're gonna say about it? You're not gonna.
Well, I mean, I don't want to spoil it for you since I know you care very deeply about those things.
I know that it's a magical show now that magic's in the universe, and they turn Anthony Mackie into an actual Falcon. All right,
Yeah.
obvious.
And then the Winter Soldier, they don't want you to know this, but like I have inside information on the final episode. He's going to become a snowman.
Oh my god, Olaf. Is that the Olaf origin story?
Yes.
So some stuff about this movie. I think it's interesting. It's one of Disney's few original movies.
What
No
do you
source
mean
material.
one of their few
At least animated movies. Usually there's like an old tale, like Frozen's based off the Ice Queen or whatever the Hans Christian Andersen thing is.
I think they're going more and more into this territory though.
Slowly with
Yeah.
this your I think Moana's original, but we think of Disney as being the fairy tales turned into movies. Even something like Big Hero 6 is an adaptation.
Which it's hilarious that Disney is known for taking like open IPs that they're what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, public use?
Yeah.
That's not it.
Things in the public domain. And
Okay.
now they're hiding behind pushing the length of time before things go in public domain further and further just so that none of their stuff ever falls in that category.
Yep.
I think they've already lobbied for it like 3 times because like the main creator was Disney and it's like it was originally like 10 or 15 years after the death, and they're like, oh no, it's getting close to that point. We need to push it further. And then they did that at least twice. We're coming up on the next one.
Hey, all right. They want to make sure no one can get to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
When was the last time they used him? Epic Mickey?
Epic Mickey 2? Well, they didn't own him until Epic Mickey, remember?
They didn't?
No. So Disney made Oswald before he made his own studio. So he never owned Oswald. And then so Disney bought him back in like 2005. They traded it with the other company. And then they used him in the 2 Epic Mickeys. And maybe he's made cameos and stuff, I want to say. He's getting a Disney Plus show. Do you know this? Speaking of Disney Plus shows, they're making a Zootopia Disney Plus show.
You know what I kind of miss?
What?
I kind of miss like the Toon Disney like shows that they made out of these movies back in the day, because like it was like almost
Timon and Pumbaa, Little Mermaid, Aladdin.
It was like a step above the like not caring level of the Disney sequels that were straight to DVD. And like, I don't know, I like that middle ground where it's not like too much effort is going in, but like there's a little bit.
I don't know how you can gauge how much effort is put into a project.
More okay, not that. I guess more like laid back.
It's not as large of a production.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem they don't feel as polished as some of the others, as their films.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
and like the stories are much smaller, or like they don't want to tell like this huge expansive thing, which I think all the Disney Plus shows are doing, aren't they? They're like telling one story over the course of this many episodes.
Well, I don't know about the animated shows, so let me just double check to see what are the other ones we're getting, because they announced a couple of them. Where can I find it?
I mean, I guess Forky is a different. They do a different.
Forky ask a question. Forky ask a question.
But we'll get to that when we talk about that movie.
What, Forky?
Yeah.
So let's check. So we're getting.
Yeah. Are we not going to talk about Forky? Is that
are
we skipping that?
We are talking about Forky. Why would we not talk about Forky? All right. So we're getting monsters at work.
Maybe you were just like.
Are you finishing your statement, or am I continuing my statement?
You can continue yours.
We're getting Monsters at Work, which is the Monsters Inc. or University spinoff. We're getting Baymax, which I guess is the Big Hero 6.
It's a musical.
No, it's a horror film like Mother.
No, it's like, you know how this is going to be very niche. Exactly. Like for when you're making like stage plans and you have to like denote whether it's a play or musical. For musicals, you add an exclamation point at the end.
I was unaware of this.
That is a thing. Yes. So like I learned that in my set design class, where like when we were like drawing up our initial things, like he was like, do we want this to be a play or musical? And the class was like, musical. So he's like,
and that's the only reason you make
exclamation
a musical.
Point. Yeah.
That's the only reason you do a musical. All right. So we're getting a Baymax show, Untitled Cars series, Moana the series, and
but are we gonna get a Planes series? That's my question.
You know, we've all been asking. We don't know. Oh, okay. So I apologize. The Zootopia it's called Zootopia Plus, but they're gonna be shorts. It'll be an anthology series that will feature storylines that follow 3 sets of characters from the film. So it's not continuing the story. It's in the universe of, which is interesting.
You know what? Let's talk about them sloths.
You mean arguably the most iconic part of this movie?
Yes, and potentially what also breaks this metaphor further of racism.
Do you remember? I don't know what movies, but there would be like the before this Zootopia came out, they would show the sloth scene in front of other movies as a trailer.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what sold people on this movie.
Yeah. But
hysterical.
see, the problem with the overall metaphor of having like different animal species be different races is that it then implies that you have distinct differences based on your race, such as like sloths are a lot slower.
I was thinking of the wolves and the wolves howling.
That too, yeah.
And it's you there's no direct one-to-one perfect correlation.
Yeah, but like that's something you got to be aware of with stuff like this. Like I understand that it is just a metaphor, but like it is clunky. It is clunky.
Sure, it's a clunky allegory.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's a way to fully get through it, right?
What do you mean?
To clean up this allegory? Because the thing is, the the animal behaviors do so much in dictating the character. Even just that opening sequence of her walking out the train station, you see all the animals are in a different posture, they're dressed differently, and it tells you so much about each person she's passing by. I think of it more as the prejudices that have been passed on. You know, the bunnies, they've been telling the story. She puts on this play of how the prey were attacking them hundreds of years ago, and they have this in their DNA. And then she tells that same story at the press conference as fact. With no, like, she's not consulting a historian.
Right, right.
And so it's more of a question of those who wrote the history books then passing along the stories they're telling. Almost like, you know, up until 10, 20 years ago, we were holding up Columbus as this hero when he was a piece of shit.
I mean, 10 years ago, that still seems like too far for that. That's optimistic.
Yeah, I have no actual time frame. I just threw a number out there.
What is years? What is time?
I believe there's 525,600 minutes. I don't know how much daylight or cups of coffee is in 1 year.
You know, I don't like that one. I don't like that music.
Hold up, even that song?
It's okay, but like it does not add to anything.
We will discuss rent another day.
If you want us to talk about rent, hit us up at our email for the podcast.
Give it to them, Vaughn. Give it to them.
Not our individual emails, the one for the podcast.
Give it to them.
billion_club_billions at money.com.
Remember, that's billions_dollars_billions at money.com.
Yeah.
Tell them that Christian and Juan sent you, and they'll give you a free referral code for the next 2 months. Is that how it works? Is that how ads work?
Yeah. And you know what they say at money.com? We give you the money.
Because it talks. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
What you said earlier?
Yeah.
Shout outs to directors Brian Howard and Rich Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was an ambitious story with a lot of different avenues that they had to balance, and they did wonderful. Brian Howard, best known for co-director on Bolt, Tangled, and Zootopia. Rich Moore directed Wreck-It Ralph and Ralph Breaks the Internet, and has worked on The Simpsons. Talented duo.
You know, another scene that left me thinking was when Judy chased that he was a weasel, right?
The weasel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Through that small town.
It turned into a kaiju movie.
Yeah, and literally they just broke the houses and tilted them over. Now I'm wondering, like, what happened to all the wiring in the pipes?
That's the lack of realism you're questioning. Out of everything in this movie, that's
okay. You know what? You want to go into the realism aspect? One, Animals don't talk. All right.
Fuck you, parrots.
Did you see a parrot in this movie? That's what I
No,
thought.
because they're not aiming for realism.
Two, animals don't talk.
Wait, so we're eating number 1
Animals don't talk.
and number 2.
Stupid animals don't talk.
Okay, you changed
Uh,
something. Hold on, you changed
yeah,
something. Let me hear this again.
and
Number 1,
and that animals don't talk.
number 2.
And, stupid animals don't talk.
All right, is there a number 3?
In that one scene where she chased him through that village, the pipes and the wires didn't break or whatever. And number 4, animals don't talk. All right.
Wow. Do you think? Well, actually, they don't because we didn't see them. But you know how they have the pipes to travel from building to building?
Yep.
Are those also the pipes they use for their plumbing? Not those same exact
No.
ones, but the same material, same stuff you're using.
No, that would not be. The water would just go right through those.
How do you know? How do you know they're built in how they're built in this universe? Okay, it's not realistic. Okay, the stupid animals talk. All right.
I think we got some fixes coming up.
You got some fixes. I got some other stuff. What was that line early on her dad says about like the beauty of complacency? Is that what he says?
Yeah, something like that.
I appreciate that she's trying to fight the status quo, which I think is always a good thing to teach children.
It goes back to that muddled metaphor because like it's very much like the American dream in terms of like when you're the first generation immigrant, you don't aim for the moon or the stars. You're just like, if I could live well enough, I'll be complacent, I'll be happy. But the second generation, their children's like, no, I'm not about that. I'm gonna be the cop in the big city. I'm gonna hand out the parking tickets. I'm gonna make sure that these predators are prejudiced against, like a girl boss would.
What was that pose? He's striking again, but also vocalize the pose in some sort of noise so our audio listeners can understand what you just did.
Like a girl boss would. Fold the arms, lean back towards one side.
Wow. Wow. Incredible. I have a note that says, that ice cream looks good. Because I'll be honest, that ice cream looked good.
Speaking of things that look good, let's talk about furries.
Nope. Nope. All right, Pawan, I think it's time for my bathroom break. Have fun talking about furries for the next half hour. I'll be back.
Wait, are you actually going?
Yeah, I actually do. Have fun talking about furries. This is your furry hour. Please enjoy the poetic stylings of Pawan Mehta.
So I'm going to preface this by saying I am not, and nor have I ever been, a furry. People who might claim otherwise, they're liars. Okay. So there was one segment of this movie where these animals usually wear clothes, but there's this one nudist colony where you see bare elephant ass. You see the fur, unbridled fur, unkempt fur, if you will. And you know what? Like, people were wondering, it's like, oh, I remember when this movie was coming out, people were worried what the furries were going to do. And you know what the furries did? They made Nick X Judy very much a thing. There are so many comics, if you look online, of them being an actual couple and just terrible, terrible, terrible jokes and or vague allusions to acts that cannot be depicted in a PG movie, if you know what I mean. There's one other aspect of this that I would like to discuss, but I'll wait for Miss Simpson to get back for that one. That'll be fun. Um, yeah, the furries, they've been really having a grand old time since this movie came out. I don't know if it was an influence on it, but it has very much been compared to the anime that is currently streaming on Netflix, Beastars, which does go a lot further into the sexual nature of these animals.
Juan, do you think there are a lot of furries in China?
Enough.
This film was a huge hit in China.
Before we get
Like,
to that, there's one other aspect of this furry nature that I'd like to discuss with you.
okay.
So let's talk about that final song with Shakira.
All right. Try everything.
Yeah. She's a gazelle, right?
Sure.
And she's surrounded by big, strong, burly tigers.
Yeah, yeah.
And those are her backup dancers.
Mhm.
How does that make you feel?
I don't know the
That this
entire.
that this prey, her backup dancers are these big, burly, manly tigers,
Well, I don't have many thoughts, but
predators.
the anthology spin-off television series follows three sets of characters, including the tiger dancers. So I think once I learn more about these tiger dancers, then I'll have more an opinion on them.
You know, one image that I've seen a lot on the internet. You remember towards the ending where they have that montage of how people were becoming more prejudiced to the predators.
Sure, sure.
There was that one moment on the train where that tiger or lion was just reading his paper, minding his own business, and there was the two bunnies next to him that were just like scooting away. I've seen many, and like you know what,
Oh no.
you know what I like about that tiger? He didn't
What?
even notice. He was just reading his paper, just going about his life. And I've seen so many tweets and like messages or whatever being like, I know he would take care of me.
Okay. Okay. That's choice. That's all I'll say.
Listen,
I
we're
I
talking
heard
about Zootopia. What can we talk about other than police, racism, and furries? What else is there?
it's an adorable movie. I heard you bring up Beastars, which if you go on the
Yeah.
Zootopia page
Yes.
under C also on Wikipedia, it's Beastars is listed there. A manga and anime series with a similar premise.
Yeah, except that one definitely goes into a much more sexual aspect with the predator prey dynamic.
Oh, I clicked on it, and there's the cover of the first manga, and feels sexual. Not that it is sexual, but
Very
feels
much so.
sexual.
Oh, straight up, there's an episode where like the wolf straight up he has sex with a bunny. Like that's in an episode on Netflix.
Are you saying you're against interracial relationships?
No, I'm specifically against that show because like they frame her as a whore.
Oh no. Cause she's a bunny? Cause she's good at multiplying?
I see what you're getting at.
That's a line she said. That's a line she said in the movie.
Yeah, the Judy Hopps she says many things in this
She
movie.
does say many things. I think this movie, you know, we were talking about how the allegory is kind of messy. I think this movie wants to have its cake and eat it too. And I don't mind it because there's so much humor based on animals and the way they act and just like little physical things they do and the names of stores. I'm like, okay, it's funny, but like I don't know, it feels weird when you're saying they're more than they're thought of. Did that make sense?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Miss Sensen. I'm you're here on this podcast as the optimist. Like, I like movies, and I'm here to be like, no, movies are bad. They're the worst creation known to man
I don't think this. I don't
and
think this is where we're
woman.
going. I don't know if this is where we were going, but okay, go where you're going with this. I'm curious.
I'm just saying I don't like movies.
But did
That's
you
it.
like the humor of this? Do you like the humor of this movie?
I mean, see, my
They
favorite
have
type of
they
humor.
have two elephant jokes. One, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It was Francine's birthday.
I
And
mean,
then two,
I like that one. I
no, I
like
liked
that
it
one.
too, but then they go and like, oh, let's talk to the elephant, and the elephant never forgets.
Oh, right. That was in the scene that was pure furry bait that I was talking about while you weren't here, where I said like they straight up show elephant ass.
They do. They do. Shout out in that scene to Tommy Chong, who plays the yak.
Yo, shout out to elephant ass.
That as well. Puan, remind me to never watch a live action Dumbo with you or the animated Dumbo. I don't know which one you'll enjoy more, and I don't care to find out.
I'm not a furry. All right. I just want that on the record again.
Elephants don't have fur.
I don't want to fuck animals. How about that?
That's a better. That's more inclusive. Thank you for being inclusive with your statement of I don't want to fuck you. Oh, did you? I think you broke up for a sec, but you're back. You're back. Yeah, shout out to Tommy Chong. I always enjoy seeing him.
Mhm.
Of Cheech and Chong fame. I discovered him way back when I watched that 70s show. Always fun to see him and stuff. Just that. I was a big fan of the score of this movie. Score was a delight, a lot of fun. And I didn't realize it was Michael Giacchino. Are you familiar with this name, Paul? Michael Giacchino.
No.
I'd argue he's done two of the greatest animated scores of all time, The Incredibles and the Up, where he won his Oscar. We've discussed many of his films on this podcast. Let me just double check the list. He did. Oh, he did
What did he do?
Ratatouille and Star Trek.
Oh, he did the TikTok musical?
Yes, Remy the Ratatouille, the musical. He did Jurassic World. He did Zootopia. He does Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which we'll talk about in a couple weeks. Incredibles 2, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. So he's a big name. I love the madcapness of his score in this one, especially in that chase scene with the weasel.
Since you brought up the Remy the Ratatouille moment,
Remy the Ratatouille.
I don't like that the TikTok musical did not address that problem, because Remy is not Ratatouille. He is not steamed vegetables.
But he is the Ratatouille. Oh, I understand. I didn't realize this was a thing people had until like 3 years ago. As someone who didn't watch Ratatouille till last year, I know his name's Remy. And he's a rat.
No, but
he's not a Ratatouille.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's not a Ratatouille.
No.
And like
people there's some people who think his name is Ratatouille.
But like the thing is, the people in charge of the TikTok musical should have known better and be like, you know what? We need to address this elephant in our biggest song, that he himself is not Ratatouille. We need to find some way to stage this so that it makes sense. They did not.
What if it's not?
And that is the biggest indictment that I have against Ratatouille, the TikTok musical that you will hear here.
That's your biggest indictment. What if it's not a literal Ratatouille, but a metaphorical Ratatouille? A Ratatouille that brings us happiness, that reminds us of our youth, of when we were pure and happy.
I know that that's not what they were going for.
Are you sure?
You can tell.
Did you speak to guy I can't talk while trying to spell Ratatouille? Are you sure? Did you speak to why is it so hard to find? Why is there no Wikipedia page for? Oh, here it is. Ratatouille the musical, also known as Ratatouille the TikTok musical. Remy the Ratatouille, Ratamusical. Who the fuck called it Ratamusical?
It's Ratusical.
Did you speak to Emily Jacobson, an elementary school teacher who recorded an ode to Remy? Do you speak to Emily?
Listen,
That's who
I saw the TikToks that were trying to
I did.
explain how they could stage it better to make that line make sense.
That's
And
funny.
they could have done that, but they didn't. They didn't.
Sounds like someone needs to give you a Remy, aka a ratatouille, so that you can eat it and be reminded
Listen,
of bliss.
listen,
Good morning, Miss
I'm not
Bliss.
one of them omnivores or carnivores, all right? I don't eat the meats. I don't eat rats. All right. I don't eat rats.
Zootopia. Is it too reliant on pop culture references for its jokes?
Such as
Um, and this is an aspect that I think you typically see in a DreamWorks movie, and less so in a Disney movie. But there is the Godfather reference.
yeah, that felt weird.
I felt like his daughter was like a parody of Snooki with the hair and the Italian accent.
Which like what see, I'm trying to think about it from like the kid's perspective. What do they think is going on during that scene?
Yes, but I know Rugrats in Paris also opens with the Godfather reference. I weirdly think kids either they do get the idea of like this being a thing, or they just think it looks silly.
Hmm.
But also there's the I it made me laugh, but I hate the let it go joke. When he's like, life's not a musical where you break out in song and get whatever you want. So let it go.
I mean, I personally enjoyed it because everyone was singing that for like 3 years straight.
I do enjoy it, but is there a I guess let it go is so iconic now that everyone does get it.
I mean, if you see Zootopia, you know Frozen.
Yeah. Unless you're a child who's shown Zootopia before Frozen.
I mean, that's on your parents. But like
It
in
is
that
on your
case, that's
presence.
like 5 seconds, and like that's easily forgot. You can easily avoid that one. It's
Yeah.
not that important
And
because even
then
in the context of that scene, it's not really posited as a joke.
you're right. You're right. It's winky. It's winking
Yeah.
at the audience. Um so yeah, I apologize. I guess it's mainly the Godfather one. Because the other thing I had is that there's a little Breaking Bad Easter egg that I in my mind
Mhm.
was a larger thing, but it turns out it was just two of the characters underground were named Jesse and Walt. You don't even really see them on screen.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's cute. That's fun. So, but yeah, the Godfather reference was like, oh, do we need this? As someone who's never seen The Godfather, it's like, do we need this?
I mean, neither have I.
Fuck, then how can we have a movie podcast?
I mean, oh no, we didn't see the mafioso movie. Are we talking about any mafioso movies?
Um, Hold on, Frozen 2?
What?
No. Did you hear me, or are you just confused by my response of Frozen 2?
I was confused.
Okay, yeah, I just named a random movie. There's that.
Okay.
See what else. This movie is
Mhm.
gorgeous.
Yeah, that's why the furries love it.
I okay. That I wasn't referring to just the character models, but um, the fur on everyone is beautifully animated, and also just the lighting and the shadows of the film, the way it's done, because they're in such a large city, some of the sunlight will be blocked out by a building, and so it affects how much sunlight is there. I love the lighting in the scene after she gets off the stage for the press conference, and just the way Nick's lit in that scene is affecting.
Monstrous.
What did you say?
Monstrous.
Wait, why are you starting up the email? I guess if you started saying the email, you gotta say the full email now. Go on, say the email.
Nah, you go ahead.
Monstrous duty at JK453 at $1 billion_movie/club up space up down dude.
There is no up space. That's what you know what that's where I
Yes,
take
sir.
issue with this.
Yes,
That's where I draw the line.
UPSPACE. Okay, Mister. Okay. QHH. That's three ums. Oh God. Shouts to David Diggs. Oh wait. First off, back on the animation, the ice cream looks gorgeous, as well as the popsicles that the fox give out. Shouts to David Diggs. Do you know David Diggs' part in this
Why
movie? So you know when
was
the
he the one who wore the elephant costume as the
no
little
no,
bunny? Or
but you know that little fox that drives away and laughs at Nick for having to help with Judy.
yeah, that's who I was
So he
thinking.
plays a song on the radio, and David's the voice
Oh, he's
rapping on
singing
that
in
track.
French.
Yeah. Shouts to David Diggs. We're both giant David Diggs fans. We
Yeah.
dig the dig.
I think he also showed up at the end of a different Disney movie.
Soul. I believe he either
Right.
helps out with the song or he's a voice in the barbershop, maybe.
And then like at the end of the credits, there's like a brief snippet of like a
Yes.
clipping song or something.
Yes. Another great movie. Probably could have been on this list if it actually came out in theaters.
Maybe.
What a shame. We'll never know. We brought up the little tiny fox man who dresses up as an elephant. Adorable, but also hysterical.
Yeah.
Well, I bring
I
you
mean,
up this
he's about
aspect
the
later.
money. He's about the money.
Is I don't even know what the character's name is. Or I'm trying to figure out who plays him. This would be Fennec, a Fennec fox who is Nick's partner in crime, played by Tom Lister Jr. I think I've seen this man and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we want to bring up?
They wear clothes, but they don't wear shoes.
Holy crap! I didn't realize that.
I was able to tell from looking at the image behind you. Again, furry bait.
I see. Oh, we didn't even discuss. I wanted to bring up played by Jenny Slate. The character is named Dawn Bellwether. Bellwether. Take 7. Jenny Slate as Dawn Bellwether, a diminutive sheep who is the assistant mayor of Zootopia. I think Disney movies are usually maligned. Can I say that word?
Sure. You said it, so you can. I think you pronounced it well enough.
For the now cliche of the villain being a good guy in disguise who turns out to be the villain, that reveal. And this movie is a culprit of that. But I think it works.
See, my problem with that as a like tendency that they have these days is that we don't get any more iconic villains that much.
We don't.
And I do miss that.
You don't have your Yzma, your Jafar, your Ursula.
Your not Quasimodo. Who was?
Yes. Come on, did you miswatch that movie? Do you know what you were watching in Hunchback? I don't. I haven't seen it.
What was that guy's name?
The Hellfire dude, right?
Yeah. Also, the villain songs were almost always bops. Like,
yes,
I think were bangers.
People are a fan of the mother in Tangled, the fake mother.
Mm-hmm.
Frozen doesn't have. You can argue Elsa's kind of a villain. No, I guess Kristoff, right, is a villain.
Yeah, but Frozen. There is no villain song in that movie.
Love is an open door. Moana has a villain song, but it's like a minor villain. Is it a crab?
Oh, so it's like that song from the Conker's Bad Fur Day where you fight the Great Mighty Pooh.
Yes. If I remember this correctly, I've never played the game, but yes, I do believe it would be like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is and yeah, Frozen is there even a character in Frozen 2?
There was the voodoo doctor in Princess and the Frog.
Ooh, that's a great one. Him and then the mom in Tinkle are probably the last two great Disney villains.
Yeah.
So that is a shame. But I think I like teaching kids that like the villain isn't always obviously evil. Like you never know what people actually intend. There are fake people in the world. Right?
Yeah, but then again, like there are just some people that are straight up
There are.
villains. But like,
are.
if you keep trying to like obfuscate it like this, the people will be like, "Well, you know what? Maybe we should hear what they have to say. Maybe they're not that bad."
Maybe they're not bad. All right. So there's that. But Jenny Slate was very fun. I like J.K. Simmons as the mayor. He doesn't have too much. Both Academy Award winners, J.K. Simmons and Octavia Spencer, who's Mrs. Otterton. They don't have too much, but they're always great. When are they not great?
One moment that I did enjoy from J.K. Simmons is when he gave that press conference at the end where he's like, "Yeah, it was bad that I held them against their will, but like, you know what? That was like bad in the service of good."
I'm confused. So he's still arrested by the end of it?
Well, yeah, he did imprison people. Like, he kidnapped people.
Oh, I just misremembered. I thought it was that after the assistants captured, then I guess he's released. But then in the end credits, he's still in prison.
It was a bit muddled like that because when he gave the press conference, it didn't look like he was in prison, but then at the end he was.
Alan Tudyk, Disney's Lucky Charm in every Disney movie since maybe Wreck-It Ralph, maybe before that,
including Star versus the Forces of Evil.
He's in that.
Yeah, he's damn, I forgot the name of that dude. He's the main villain for the first season, but then like,
cool.
Yeah.
But in this movie, he plays Duke Weaselton after playing the Duke of Wesselton in Frozen. So that's no fun. I like the little Easter egg of him selling the bootleg DVDs.
Yeah,
they're all Disney movies except for one, which I think's been canceled since.
Well, yeah, because he was like including future movies.
Yeah,
and then it's like
it was Moana, Frozen 2, and then I think Gigantic's officially canceled. I may be incorrect about that.
Oh, right, that was the Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah, maybe it's not canceled, but we haven't heard anything from it. Beans, those magic beans. Something into the woods. I am Meryl Streep.
Oh yeah, that there was a reference to that in Mank. That's where I just remembered someone talking about the magic beans selling it for a cow.
Do they reference Jack? I vaguely remember this in Mank, but I don't remember much about Mank except like, oh, that's good.
I mean, for me, what really made that movie was that one scene and the like dinner party.
That's a good scene. That is a good scene. I do think this movie kind of wraps up a little quickly.
Yeah.
I don't think the train sequence is enough of a big final set piece, but maybe that's just us. You know, we've done. Do you hear laughing?
Yeah, I do.
All right, my cousin's being loud. I don't want to disturb his. He seems to be playing a game with someone.
I don't want to disturb his joy.
No, he's been doing online school for the past year, and he hasn't left the room. I need to, he's young. He needs to enjoy stuff. Mm-hmm. So if there's laughing, just pretend it's a studio audience laughing at our hilarious podcast.
Hilarious jokes. Our hilarious am I right? Joke. Because that's what you come here for.
Yeah. So yeah, I do think it wraps a little quickly. The train sequence, I don't remember that being the end, but I guess that's the closest thing you have to climax.
I mean, to be fair, we have been spoiled for train sequences.
In the podcast or
yes,
in general?
Number one, Skyfall.
But they don't fight on the train.
Yeah, but
that is a great train moment. I'd say that's a train moment, not a sequence.
I'm still kind of surprised that that's our number one, by the way.
Why? Hold up.
You chose that.
No, science chose it.
Yeah.
Science chose Skyfall as number one.
I mean, mostly for me, the reason why I'm questioning is the misogyny aspect of it, but
that's a good point. I think the only other films we could argue so far are what? Lord of the Rings and Titanic.
I mean, Furious 7 was also fun.
Yes. Okay. But that's not even the best Fast and Furious.
Is it not?
No, it's not. Well, we will discuss this when we get to 8.
Oh, you think? Okay.
Oh, I haven't seen 8, but I think we can go on a wider Fast and Furious conversation again, because I might rewatch all of them for Fate of Furious. But yes, I think the finale of Zootopia moves a little fast. The I don't understand when they come up with the plan of the fake shoot, her fake shooting Nick.
Well, because they were like, "Oh, do you want the blueberries?" And then when he wraps her leg with the cloth,
Yeah.
and then he uses the blueberries. They hatch the plan there, but they don't show us it so that we could have that whoa twist. It goes
Some
twist.
something about that moment didn't fit. I don't know if maybe there's a way of doing it so that Judy's unaware that Nick came up with this idea.
I mean, they were both working together on it.
They were. I don't know. Something about it didn't click with me. And it's like 30 seconds after you find out she's evil that she gets caught. Maybe that could have been drawn out a little. I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it was at least a minute.
Maybe it was that. Let's do middle 45
You know what?
seconds.
Let's time it.
Oh, okay. I mean, start the movie, and you're gonna. No, I'd have so much fast forwarding. What was the scene about Nick giving the Godfather the skunk butt rug? Are they making rugs out of skunk butts? Are they skinning
Yeah, they
people
skinned the
and making them
skunk
to
butt.
rugs?
People, whoa. What people are you talking about?
They're
These are
people.
animals.
Oh, you broke up for a second. Can you repeat that in case
No,
it was picked up? Oh no.
they're animals.
Oh no.
That
Oh no, listeners. Paul's breaking up.
movie's rated.
My computer said your internet connection is unstable. I'm afraid.
Bro, you need to get that. You need to get that Ethernet connection.
Paul, there's
Consistent.
There's 7 of us in this house, and probably 5 people are on using the internet at one time.
Yeah, you're using Wi-Fi. You need to be wired in.
How dare you question my consumption of the internet? How dare you?
I mean, that's not what I was doing, but okay.
I don't like this. I don't like this, all right? Oh, what is my cousin doing? Do you hear that?
Yeah, it's fine. It's part of the episode.
I guess. Enjoy this. I
Listen,
apologize for this confusion.
This movie is a hoot. That's why you're hearing all these hoots.
This movie is a 2005 young adult adaptation. Hoot. Is that the movie? Is that the owl movie?
I think so, yeah. I actually had to read that for like 8th grade.
I never read it. I don't know what it's about. They always showed it on like Disney Channel. And then I looked up recently. I was like, what the fuck is that cast? Luke Wilson, Logan Lerman, Brie Larson, Tim Blake Nelson, Clark Gregg's in this. That's a solid cast.
Before I read the book, I kept confusing it with Holes.
That's fair. Both H movies. All right, I
Came out
think
around the same time. I think both take place in Florida.
maybe that makes sense. I think that's it. That's all I got. Sloth. The sloths are very funny.
The bunnies.
I don't think we talked enough about the sloths being very
Sloths. They were there. They were funny. They feel like it was from a separate movie that they just jammed into this.
All right, give me 1 second.
You know, the sloths, they were real slow. It really felt like they might have wrote that scene separately and then needed to find a way to interject it into this movie. Because it's weird because like the joke is that the movie runs at a rather like fast pace, but then you get that one scene where everything's slow, and that's the joke.
It's also
But it definitely feels removed from the rest of the movie.
yes. It's part of it is just how perfect it is for sloths to be at the DMV, right? That's hysterical. I love the way they talk. Did when you're in elementary school, did you ever like go on the computer and do the Windows like text to voice speak?
No, I don't think our computers had speakers.
Oh, that's odd. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I don't know. But I feel like I do that as a younger kid, and I type in words, and then it came in that robotic slowness, monotone that you don't really get nowadays with Siri. It's like, hey, there, what is going on? And that's what the sloths reminded me of in this one.
But like speaking of Disney trailers,
Yes.
I mean this one had nothing on like my favorite ad campaign they had for a movie,
For Disney, which one?
Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, you mean one of the greatest ad campaigns ever created? Well, part of the genius of, and I think I don't know why they kind of moved away from this, is that there was a time where Disney and Pixar, even their trailers didn't have any footage from the movies. And so you were able to get these silly, memorable things. You get Stitch jumping to all the pictures and all the other movies. You got, I think of The Incredibles. Do you ever see that Incredibles open teaser where it's like him putting on the suit and he can't get the belt on?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that, I remember more than the movie. And I love that movie. And so it is, I don't know. I don't know why I went on that rant, but yeah.
You know, there because there was like an effort that was put into like make even the like rollout of the movie special, whereas nowadays it's just like let's just grab some scenes from the movie or whatever.
I will say Frozen's first trailer doesn't have any footage, or Zootopia. Zootopia's first trailer is like, here's an animal. He's anthropomorphic. This is what it means to be anthropomorphic. And he's in this world with other animals. So
Oh, so it was like the that one 15-minute commercial trailer thing that was done for Psycho.
I'm unfamiliar with this.
There's one where there's like Alfred Hitchcock's just on the set of the movie, and like as he's just walking by, he just tells you the plot of the movie in the most monotone, dry voice possible.
That's funny.
He's like, "Oh yeah, this at this location we hit the climax of the film where he falls down the stairs."
Spoilers, Hitchcock. Come on.
But like, you know what? He was so confident in that movie where he's like, yo, even if I explain these plot points in the most boring way possible, you'll wonder how it all connects. And like, you'll just be like, that sounds interesting enough. I want to see this movie.
I will say, I think it's odd Zootopia hasn't had a sequel announced yet.
I mean, it's got the TV show.
Yeah, but Wreck-It Ralph is, I think, 6 years between the two Wreck-It Ralph, 6 years between the two Frozens. I guess we're 2 years away from, no, 1 year away from potential Zootopia sequel by that timeline.
So for Wreck-It Ralph, the thing is that they used the sequel as a vehicle to just advertise all their online stuff.
They did. They did.
So it was more of a marketing campaign than an actual film, it feels like.
It does. The result does feel a bit like that.
And then the Frozen, that was like one of their biggest movies of all time.
Same with Zootopia.
But was it? I don't remember being holding as much cultural like
That's the
weight.
That's the weird thing about Zootopia. It is their second highest outside. I think it's their highest outside of Frozen. So those are the three Disney movies we're talking about. It was gigantic hit, but you don't see the merchandising for Zootopia like you see for even a Moana or Tangled. Kids don't have their Judy Hopps toys.
I think they're partially afraid of the furry community. They
Probably.
created this beast that like they don't want to satiate it because like they don't want their Disney toys to be associated with unkempt activities.
I also think a part of it is like, which character do you do that with? There's no cute sidekick in this one.
Fennec.
Hey, daughter, look what I got you. 48-year-old man who looks like he's 20. He looks like he's 20 months old. Don't worry. He's adorable. He's dressed like an elephant.
You know, I just remembered. Speaking of Fenico foxes, there's
Mm,
also
wait,
there's
wait,
also
wait,
a
wait, wait, wait,
Gretzko.
no. Wait, what are you saying? Go on,
Huh?
go on. I thought you were gonna say
Speaking
something
of
that I
that
wanted to
type of fox,
say. Okay.
there's also like the anime Gretzko that's on Netflix. That's
Okay, go
partially
on.
inspired. That's like Sanrio characters. You know and love Hello Kitty. They made a Gretzko, which is kind of like
What is a Gretzko?
it's about a red panda just living her life in the workforce. But it's all basically imagine if they made a like TV show in the style of the cuteness of Fennec for all the characters,
I don't get what the Hello Kitty
but like
connection is
also had
though.
that hearted. It's made by the same company,
Okay,
and
Sanrio.
like
Okay,
it's used as merchandise for that. Yes,
I see. I see.
it's another merchandise vehicle like that.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I think that's it for our conversation about Zootopia.
Yeah. Well, your conversation about Zootopia while I just branch off into a million different subjects.
Come on, that's every episode we do of this. We in an hour and a half to 2 hour long podcast, we probably talk about a movie. What 45 minutes? All right. Well, that was the movie, Zootopia. I was gonna say the latest from Disney Animation Studios. Nope, that's 5 years ago. Holy fuck, this movie's 5 years old.
yeah, we got the $30 rental right now of Raya and the Last Dragon.
Wait, you have that rental?
I
I'm
don't have that
confused.
rental, but like it exists.
Okay.
It's something you can do
Shout outs to
on
Jared
top
Bush
of
and
your
Phil
monthly subscription to Disney Plus. Go ahead.
Johnston, who did the screenplay of this film, and the story by credit. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names on the story by credit. That's a lot of names. Ooh, there's 2 cinematographers for this film. Nathan Warner, who does the layout, and Brian Leach, who does the lighting.
They really spent a lot of money on this one.
I sat in this. This happens to me every now and then when I watch an animated movie. Where I sit, I'm like, I cannot comprehend how an animated movie is made. I just can't.
A lot of pre-planning.
Yeah. But I think when I was younger, I assumed like with the 2D animation, I assumed they actually drew every frame of that movie. And maybe they used to, but that's not what they do anymore and I have no idea how 3D animation works. I'm always in awe.
But you make the models and then you move the individual elements of the models.
That boggles my mind. It does. You know what boggles my mind,
Well,
Pawan?
we've talked.
Pawan, do you know what boggles my
about
mind?
this movie quite a
Do
bit.
you know what boggles about?
What boggles your mind?
The fact that not every movie is perfect. Were you aware of this?
Boggled.
Boggled. Like the board
Consider
game. Okay?
consider me boggled.
Wow. Now, we shouldn't be disappointed by the lack of perfection, but rather celebrate it, where it gives opportunity and options and allows for the mind to wander and create ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, it's time for us to fix this Pete. I was gonna say picture and feature. I don't know. Let's fix this movie. Let's just fix the fucking movie.
All right.
Are you taking it
Mr.
first this
Simpson, how
time?
would you fix this?
I'm taking it first. Okay.
You're taking it first.
So first off, we talk about Fennec, the little child. The small man disguised as a child, right?
Mhm.
Now you may say Christian. Sounds familiar. This sounds like I've seen maybe something like this happen in a movie before. And I'm like, yes, the 2006 classic Little Man, starring Marlon Wayans and Sean Wayans. And so I think you need a little moment where you recreate something from that movie. I've never saw the movie, but I think you get the weigh-ins to add something to this movie. Just throw that out there, little spitballing, right?
Okay. Boca.
Then you got,
Boca.
I think an obvious. This film says so much about the current state of the world and the climate that we live in. And so you have the moment after Judy's press conference where there's the montage of all the incidents happening. And then the gazelle, played by Shakira, is giving the interview. And I think after that, you do the obvious, all right? It turns into a vertical video. Gazelle starts singing the words to John Lennon's Imagine. And slowly we go through all the other famous people in Zootopia's world singing Imagine. Because as we know from, I wanted to bring this up, that moment when she turns on the radio or whatever, and there's real songs on it. Well, I'm like, wait.
I wanted to bring that up earlier when you talked about the score. I was like, they spent a lot of money on this movie where they could just like drop in 2-second bits of like all those songs just for like a gag.
But like, how does that happen in this world?
Yeah, which animals are REM?
Yes. Obviously, the rabbit, the eagle, and the monkey. Come on, Pawn. So REM, the rabbit, eagle, and monkey are at the final concert with Shakira, as we know. So yeah, the Imagine video happens. Obviously, all that does is outrage everyone more, and there's more conflict in the city. And then my final thing I mentioned, I don't think the train sequence is the most exciting. I think that does its job, but I want a larger spectacle. And so it's a chase of sorts, yes, of sorts. What is the greatest chase sequence in a film we've ever seen? Hold on, give me a guess. Greatest chase sequence you ever thought of. All right. What? Shrek 2? Yes. Shrek 2 when they parody the television series Cops. So the chase on the train, which isn't really a chase, turns into a Cops-esque sequence. You see the people on the side recording it. There's the helicopter footage of it, zooming in on them, figuring it out. But then what? Idris Elba's at the office and he catches what's going on. He sees something's fishy and he runs on the track. And then the movie continues as it does. They push the ram out the window and it hits the lever and then they switch sides. But instead of hitting a wall, oh no, the track's broken. They might fall. That's a problem. In comes Idris Elba. Idris Elba plays a ram. Is he a ram in this movie? What is he in this movie? I forget.
I don't remember.
Idris Elba, strong animal, yes. And he has history of doing these super heroic acts as Heimdall in the Thor franchise. Is that his name?
I mean, does he do super heroic acts in that movie? I think he just mans a bridge.
He's also about to do stuff in the Suicide Squad. So obviously all his characters can do super heroic stuff. So his character, Bogo, comes in, sees the train about to fall off, goes, oh no. And does what Mr. Incredible does in the first Incredibles. Do I remember what he does? No, I think he tries to push it back so it stops. He does something, stops the train. And so you have another victorious moment for this character.
I remember that iconic Idris Elba scene as Luther where, he just stopped planes in midair.
Yeah. I believe he has either a Golden Globe or an Emmy. How else would he get that? By stopping planes in the air. All right. Breaking Bad season 2. No one stops the plane in the air, and then sad stuff happens. Didn't win Best Drama Series. Luther stops it in the air. Idris gets an award. Juan, that's how I would fix this film. How would you fix this film?
So first off, there's that sequence at the beginning where she's about to hop on the train, but then she decides to hop back off because she's Judy Hopps. She hops. But she leaves the bag on the train. And like you never know when these trains are about to leave.
This is the opening when she's saying bye to her parents, yes?
Yes. So like while she's hugging her parents, the train takes off.
Oh no.
And the first sequence as she's exploring all these different areas is her wacky hijinks trying to get back to that
Back on
bag.
the train?
Yes.
That's a good one. That's a good I like that. That's funny.
And you know that there was one line in this movie that sounded very familiar, especially in how it was used.
Oh, what was this line?
There was the line of ooh, let me find it. Give me a second.
Oh.
Uh,
Are you learning how hard it is to vamp while you're typing out a word like
and
Bad
I'll
Super?
dart every predator in Zootopia to keep it that way. And it turns out that this is a moment of menace that has been recorded and will be used against the individual who said it. You know what that reminds me a lot of?
What does it remind you of?
Monsters Inc.
Wow.
Where the owner of the
Waterhouse?
monsters,
Waterhouse?
owner of the Monster Incorporated in question, energy power source for all of Monster Kingdom, was I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die. At which point that was recorded and then used as blackmail against him as well.
I don't think it was blackmail. I think it was just evidence.
Yeah. I mean, blackmail evidence. What's the difference? What's the difference?
Based how you look on it.
So you know what? There's a parallel there. So you know what? Let's say that this movie ends with something more than just a parallel. Why not make those lines converge?
Like a perpendicular angle? Wait, lines?
Yeah.
Can an angle be perpendicular? Or is it the lines of the angle?
At the end of the movie, there's like a moment where Judy opens the door and then she sees that
wait,
she's like, yeah, y'all all right.
Can you start again? You were cutting out. Start again.
Oh,
I apologize.
So towards the end, Judy opens the door after all her things are said and done. And then she sees that exact moment play out. And she's like, yeah. And then she closes the door. And then she tells Nyx, like, yo, I think there's other types of animals out there in the world.
Wait, what moment did she see play out?
The specific moment where like they capture on tape Waterhouse saying, I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die.
I see. It's a
so like there's that door in the background. There's that door in the background.
Oh my god!
So she like opens that.
And I thought you were gonna say she opens the door and her bag is there, but no, she opens the door and it turns out to be a Monsters Inc. door as well.
Yeah. And then she tells Nick, "It's like I don't think we're the only animals on this planet."
Wow, it's incredible.
And thus setting up the Zootopia Monsters Inc. crossover.
Wow.
Glass.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen Glass. Is that the Shyamalan twist in that movie? We'll never know because no one watched Glass. Sorry, M. Night. Sorry, James, Bruce, Anya, Sam.
So those are my fixes.
Great fixes. And let's take a second to applaud all our fixes this week. We don't usually do this. Stop. Hammer time. Now, those are our opinions. We have thoughts. We thought we could make it better even. However, Pawn, what do we say about movies every week?
I don't remember. But you know what? What I remember and doesn't matter because my brain is not a computer or a computational device, which is all that matters when it comes to art.
Yeah. There's a science to it. There's a fact to it. Am I trying to maximize this window? Yes. Now let me share it. Because, Pawan, it is time for us to rank.
Is science all proven fact and nothing else? Maybe, maybe not. But that's not for us to decide because we're here to talk about art. That is actual just based on fact.
it's time to rank this movie. One, it's a $1 billion ranking list. I feel like we don't have an official
That
name
is
for
a
this.
list.
24, 25 weeks and we don't have an official name for this.
Just call it the official best rankings.
Welcome to this week's official best rankings. As we do upon heads or tails.
Heads.
The coin lands on heads. Oh. Who has the power?
Oh.
All right. Last week's film was Captain America Civil War, I believe.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you like Zootopia better or worse than Captain America Civil War?
I'm gonna say better.
All right. Do you like this film better or worse than The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey?
I'm gonna say better.
Wow. Do you like this film better or worse than Jurassic World?
I'm gonna say better.
Do you like this film better or worse than Titanic?
That's a tough one.
Now remember, Titanic, 3.5 hours long.
You know, that's not as much of a concern for me as it seems to be for you. But also, you know, you're not always in the mood for the overly dramatic. Like usually, like Broadway tickets are expensive for a reason. You don't go to see it every other day.
Wait,
that's why it's such high emotion. But you know what?
Come on,
There's something to be said.
We've both seen free. We gotten free tickets to Broadway shows that don't have high emotions. Don't say that. That's not DFI's Broadway. Not like it needs it right now.
I was just about to say high emotions, not necessarily the best aspect of art. I'm gonna go with better.
Wow. Whoa. Do you like this better or worse than Star Wars: The Force Awakens?
I'm gonna go with better.
Wow. I didn't know we were putting this high. Huh. Well,
yeah.
We're looking at numbers 4 to 12.
I didn't listen. I didn't know either because I'm not in charge.
No, science is life is, all right? Sometimes you try everything, but you can't try everything. I'm hitting the number generator. And the number we get is number 11. Oh, that's a little low.
Okay.
Zootopia, very good.
I think
very
that's
good
a solid spot. That's
very
a
good
solid
flick.
Spot.
Not top 10 material, all right? At number 11, Zootopia. That's a solid spot. Will numbers 4 through 10 end up being solid spots? I don't know.
That's a great question.
We'll find out. All right. Time to recap the list. At number 47, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
At number 46, Alice in Wonderland.
I forget every week we did that movie. And I look up, I'm like, oh yeah. Number
what
45.
Are you talking about? It's where they started the whole remake the movie as a gritty reboot. And like we're gonna be talking about a bunch more of them.
The Disney ones aren't gritty. Except for Alice. Anyways, 45, Toy Story 3.
44, Avatar.
41, Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
40, Avengers: Age of Ultron.
38, Transformers: Age of Extinction.
And you know what? I do stand by the fact that the Romeo and Juliet clause is better than anything in Age of Ultron.
Do you stand by the fact that it's better than Avatar and Toy Story 3? 38, Transformers: Age of Extinction.
37, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest.
35, Captain America: Civil War.
34, Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace.
33, The Dark Knight Rises.
32, The Dark Knight.
31, Marvel's The Avengers.
30, Minions.
28, The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey.
27, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
26, Jurassic Park.
25, Iron Man 3.
24, Frozen.
22, Jurassic World.
Tied at 21, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Jordan Peele's Us, and
19, we have Titanic.
13, Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
And our new entry, number 11, Zootopia.
Zootopia? Did I misspell it?
Zootopia. I know.
Wow.
It's
Uh,
Zootopia.
and in the top three, number three, Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Is it The Return of the King or just Return of the King?
Return of the King. Wait, no, it might have been the. Either way, it's
Well,
fine.
we'll see. Whatever is there is there.
2, Furious 7.
And again at number one, the misogynistic Skyfall. How did it end up at number?
You were in charge that day.
Yeah, I guess I said better than Lord of the Rings, so there's only two choices. And you know what? It is a fine flick.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say it's better than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but also remember, no film is perfect. And that's what we learn every week on the $1 Billion Movie Club. Thank you for
learning the exact same episode with us every week.
Learning the exact same.
We can't get it through our skulls.
Thank you for learning the exact same episode every week.
Lesson in the episode. Fine. Are you happy now? Are you proud? Are you ecstatic?
Shout out to Pawan and myself for our incredible vocabulary this episode. We're just throwing words left and right. Oh my God, it is incredible.
You know, one can argue that that is what we do on a weekly basis. We throw words and see what sticks.
We just text each other random words and we're like, hey, what do you think of this word? It's like, huh. Solid word.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
5 out of 5. And if you thought of a great word that you want to see what we think of, send it to our email. Pawan, what is that email?
Wordsmith at forgers dot build dot vernacularity at grammarly.com.
Yeah, that's an email to our Grammarly account. Although it's not in the $1 Billion Movie Club family, it is connected in a way. So please hit up that email if you got any cool words. Remember, this is the $1 Billion Movie Club. Follow us on your podcast streaming services, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Flickr. Is Flickr a podcast? I meant to make up a word, and I think Flickr is a thing. I meant to make up a name.
I think it is a streaming service.
I missed kind.
But so maybe, isn't it like horror movies?
I didn't know maybe horror don't movies follow us on Flickr. I tried to say a random word and came up with a real thing. Subscribe to us on the YouTubes, like, comment, subscribe again. Tell your friends about us.
You know what? Tell your friends about it. Tell your enemies about us.
Yeah. Because,
maybe you'll make some new friends.
Maybe your enemies will then reform their ways and then start a pie making business with your parents. Is that what happened in this movie? I think that's what happened in this movie.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I mean, the parents got the blueberries. He got the pies.
I wonder if when my...
Okay, you froze for me.
That's the fear. Hello? I wonder how that'll pop up on the recording, and if the little notification that says your internet connection is unstable will pop up. We'll find out. So let's finish this off before it's more unstable.
It does.
All right. So shout out to Max Lismaki as always. Thank you for the art.
Shout out to Max Lizamacchio.
Be prepared for next week where we're discussing another Disney flick. Finding Dory. Where did she go? We will find out.
Remember, we're in the month that is the year of Disney.
The month that is the year of Disney.
Surrounded by 2 Disney movies. That's exactly what it is.
Well, with that, remember, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself and bears.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm in charge now. Welcome to the $1 Billion Movie Club. I am your host. Because I'm on the left this time. I'm the leader. But since it ain't shit,